Good evening and welcome back, Poetry Lovers. It is I, ZM Wise, and here I am with Miss Nemorous, all the way from the Pacific. First of all, Miss Nim, please tell us how you came up with such a unique name for yourself.
I spent a lot of time playing Pathfinder and D&D, and it was the first, one of the first, I think, second characters that I came up with, where her name was Nimrin when I was looking up like elven names. And then I looked up names that meant like of the woods because I'm very earthy, and Nemorous came up. So Nimrin, Nemorous came together, and it's just kind of been my go-to ever since.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So, do you feel that your character has sort of reflected in your creations at all?
I'd say a little bit. I think it's more like it's definitely like an alter ego. It's something that just kind of allows me to be free in the artistic realm and the creative realm instead of being like, my name is this and I am this on this plane, you know.
Of course, of course. Um, so, tell us how you started out writing and tell us some of your key influences, whether they were people or or just inanimate objects or anything. Do tell us.
Yeah. So the first thing I really remember writing was poetry, and it was in I think around like fourth grade. We had those desks, that had like the opening in the middle, and my teacher called my parents in because there was just a stack like all the way to the top of just these poems that I had written that I hadn't shown anyone. She was like, "These are so good. You need to, tell her to keep writing." And the first poem that I remember that I wrote in that class and shoved in the back of my desk was about describing the color blue and like what it smells like, what it tastes like. And I just remember that. I don't know why I wanted to write that, but I needed to write it. So there's a poem of just all these different colors. And then definitely influences wise, my favorite author is F. Scott Fitzgerald. So I'm highly influenced by him and just the emotions he can get through words.
Mm-hmm.
And things like film, I'm really inspired by. Theater, I'm really inspired by. All types of like performance like that, and anything fantasy. So Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Battlestar
Mm-hmm.
Galactica, anything sci-fi, I'm really inspired by also.
Definitely, definitely. So, tell us a bit about your writing style, your confessional slash emotional pieces, and how they differ from some of your others.
Um, so it's been interesting because I think where that kind of stuff really comes from is I was an actress for about 10 years.
Oh,
And it's really, I didn't really start developing that until I started doing theater, um, and just being really comfortable with kind of talking to yourself in a way. So I kind of look at those pieces as like an online or just like a living diary.
of course.
Um, yeah, so and I've learned kind of more, those pieces are generally pieces that I don't physically write down. They just kind of are spoken or they're almost sung out, and I kind of just record them in the moment and then go back and write them down. So those are more like the living pieces, I think. That's
Oh,
what makes them a little bit different than the actual hardcore sat down and written pieces.
right on, right on. Yeah, it's those more raw emotional pieces just caught in the moment, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, in a way, Janis Joplin did something very similar. She said she barely ever wrote any of her material. A lot of it was just sung from the mind, and you could tell
Right.
there's that much more soul within.
Mhm. Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's kind of your intuition. It just kind of takes over, and yeah, it's really powerful.
naturally, and I can of course see that in your pieces when seeing them on YouTube, of course. Now, tell us a bit more about the theatrics and in your, I suppose I don't want to label it per se, but in your slam based pieces.
Hmm. Um, so really I'm still developing it. I mean, it's still, I think everything's a work in progress, but I'm definitely still developing that style and that voice, because it is so different than just writing it. And it's also different than doing a monologue, as a character, because you have to you're still yourself. Like when you're doing these, spoken word pieces and stuff, you still have to be yourself, but you kind of are a character. So, I'm still trying to find that medium. I think with what feels good. I think I'm trying to draw a little bit just from my theater experience of just how to project and carry myself and emphasis on making sure I'm focusing on the emphasis on the things I want. But as far as like the characterization, I think I'm really in the beginning stages still, just because I'm trying to find that balance between, character and planned and intuition and being yourself still.
Definitely, definitely. That's very important,
Yeah.
especially with that. Tell it. So, not too long ago, you went through a collaboration with a very well known YouTuber, Vino Vanitas, an
Yeah.
Amsterdam-based poet. Tell us about that entire process.
That was amazing. That was the first collaboration that I've done, and I hope that I can do more with him and just with other people in general because collaboration is so powerful. I think just in general, people need to do it more.
Yes.
Um, he was great. He was one of the first people that found my YouTube when I first started, and just commented, and I went and viewed his stuff like right away. And I asked him, I said, would you, if you had the time, would you mind, viewing my stuff and then maybe giving me some feedback? And he basically just commented back and said, instead of feedback, why don't we work on a piece together? I was like, oh my God, yes, 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 of course. So that was the whole thing was kind of blowing me away. And he basically let me choose what the topic and what we wanted to write on. And so I
Mhm.
chose toxic relationships because it's something that's really easy for me to write on.
Oh
Uh,
goodness, yes, yes, yes.
yeah. So I chose that, and then we wrote our pieces separately. I wrote mine first, and then I sent it to him so he could get the feel of it, and then wrote his in response. And we broke it into three parts each, and kind of went back and forth. And that was really great. So then I got his piece. We both got our written pieces before we actually filmed our own segments. And then I filmed ours. We filmed ours separately and sent it, and he put them together, which was it was so cool watching them come together, and just even the words come together, and then the
Oh
actual
yes.
performance come together. It was more than I thought it would ever be. So I'm really really grateful for that. And he is so wonderful. Like what he can do with words is just inspiring.
Definitely, yeah. He's very powerful, and just the fusion of both of your styles
Yeah.
in that one body of a piece was absolutely incredible, amazing. And
Oh, thank
fellow
you.
YouTubers, if you have not seen this yet, I encourage you to take a look at this collaboration, including it in this video link description. In this video description, rather, the link will be included. Um, do you have any advice to newcomers in the arts?
Oh yeah. Don't be afraid to look stupid. You're for one, you're not gonna look stupid. But for two, like I mean, that was my thing for a long time. I was like, well, I don't know if I should even share this. And I really didn't want to be in front of a camera doing those like pieces, those intuitive pieces, because I was like, well, people are just gonna think I'm dumb, or they're gonna think I'm trying to be something that I'm not. And if you're just letting yourself be and letting it kind of happen, no one's gonna come at you, and even if they do, then they're dealing with their own stuff. So just focus on yourself and allow yourself the chance to do it because it's worth doing. And just don't limit yourself on what you write or what you create, because there's I mean my own personal stuff, I've been in tons of different areas technically of art and art creation.
Right.
And just because you're good at one thing or you think you can't do one thing doesn't mean you can't use it over a vast different thing. I mean, you can, if you're talking about writing, I've written short stories, plays, screenplays, poems, and now doing spoken words. So don't limit yourself is definitely what I would
Of
say.
course, of course. And how do you? I guess sort of reverting back to an earlier question, when you're the process for your spoken word pieces as opposed to your regular poems, it's
Hmm.
more composed on the tongue, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
and then written down.
Yeah. Well, I
Yes.
always tell my friends when they ask me about, they'll ask me this, like, how do I write this, or how long does it take to write this? And I usually tell them I don't actually write it. Like I said, like it's either spoken or sung, and I have so many videos on my phone that are just like me filming the ground and then like saying a line, and then that's the video end, and then I piece it together later, or it's voice to text where I just kind of I have an idea and then I just have to get it out really quickly, and then you can go through and edit later. But it's just when something kind of pops up, I want to take advantage of it and just get it out, because thoughts and everything, they can disappear so quickly. And then even just missing one word if you have this one line that's perfect in your head, if you change one word, it could change the entire tone, and then all of a sudden that doesn't work anymore and it's not powerful. So yeah, it's definitely kind of just, it's in the moment. It's definitely in the moment. And I think part of that is my theater experience is like, I love that it's in the moment and it's live and that kind of stuff. And even if you have scripted words, it's still live. So
Yes.
that's really, yeah, it's really cool.
No, it sounds incredibly amazing. So, as we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, I'd like for you to share with us, the YouTube viewers, um, two samples of yours, two that you think that everybody should hear.
Oh goodness. See, I purposely didn't think of this because I wanted to see what would just pop up in the moment. Um,
Right on.
uh, so there was one piece that I actually wrote. It was really short, and it wasn't meant to be like a strong, powerful piece. But it was just kind of about the Me Too movement, and just everything that's happening this year with women, and just the progress we're making. And I posted this actually on my Instagram, with a photo of me with kind of all my tattoos, showing all the things that are not very conventional for this actress to have and things. Um, and that one, I don't even think had a title. So that one was just, "This is my body. This is mine. It is not to be used. It is not to be played with. It is not to be judged. We are anything but toys, and we are nothing to be trifled with." And that's very, very short and very, very small. And it's very different than my usual pieces that have a lot of rhyme in them.
No,
But
short, but extremely powerful.
yeah, and it was one of those ones that just came up, and I was like, this needs to be posted. That's the main one that I feel like is so powerful. And right now it's really resonating with me. I think that would be the main one that I would say, because I think a lot of the stuff that I've been doing lately is very statement driven like that, which is very it's very powerful, and it's to the point, and it's not gonna be comfortable, I think, for some people to read, but that's what I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely the one that I would say is kind of the precursor for things to come.
No, yeah. There's nothing wrong with shaking people up. It keeps them
Yeah,
on their toes, and
yeah.
especially with a piece like that, it keeps them aware of the reality. There's no avoiding it. There's no hiding around it. It's happening. Unfortunately, it continues to happen, especially with that particular
Oh
uh,
yeah.
uh, that particular slice of hell that so many women go through.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
do you have another piece as well?
I would do. I would like to share the Cosmically Wonderful. Um, Probably just the snippet of it, because I just love the way Cosmically Wonderful, um, and Regurgitating Words, Words, Words. Those two pieces, which are on my blog, um, they have the most beautiful, like melodic quality to them. And those were two that were written off, you know, the top of my head as like song, and they
Mm.
really played as song, which was just. I hope that that kind of inspiration comes back, because it's very mesmerizing. I think even just me when I was filming those videos, those two are, I think, also on my YouTube as well. So those were just like in a trance when you're doing them, because they have that melody and kind of air to them. So yeah, the Cosmically Wonderful just starts out as, "Be something beautiful, not just on earth, but be cosmically wonderful and know you have worth. We take and we take and we forget how to give, but what does it even mean to us now to truly live? Not asking these questions makes all of us so small. Through the motions we walk, through the haze of all, through these fields we mindlessly graze, hoping one day to be the rid of the maze, but do nothing." That's the one I would share. That was really, really rough. Sorry about that. But
No,
yeah,
I mean, especially
that's my favorite section of that.
no, that's absolutely brilliant. Um,
Yeah.
Before we head out, would you like to plug your work? Give us some links.
For sure. Yeah. So my blog is on WordPress. It's the secret of Nim. .wordpress.com. And I also have an Instagram that's specifically for all of my writing. It does have some of my videos from YouTube as well, and that is just at Just Call Me Nim, NIM. So yeah, those are my two main pages right now. And I'm hoping to upload a lot more, and as time goes on, try to do more collaborations. So if you're viewing this video and you do writing or anything, hit me up for collaborations because I love working with other people.
Hear that, people? Miss Nim is up for collaboration. Take her advice. You never know, you could have a beauty of a piece on your hands.
Absolutely.
Um, any final words?
Um, just thank you for this. This is really cool. I'm really excited that there's more conversations about art going on, and artists inspiring artists, because it's so important, especially now, and just the social climate and everything. It's art has never been more important right now,
Mm.
in every single form, and it's so important for other artists to give other artists platforms to grow, and things like collaborations to keep people aware and to keep people thinking about things. Because art is what's going to speak louder than any other truth right now. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about it.
Of course, of course. Well, it's been a genuine pleasure having you, Miss Nim.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you so
very
much.
much. And keep writing, keep speaking, keep creation alive.
I will.
And we are out.